let somebody that you don't know stay in your place because it'd be a great, nice thing for you to do is a big sell. I think is a hard sell.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
agree with you.
I really think we are going to have to come up with some way to get investment in some specific plan, like backing, buying property or leasing it long term or something. It's going to have to be something that's going to cost money. I guess is what I'm trying to say. There's no way around it. It's not going to. You're not going to find probably anyone who's just going to donate space. And like I was thinking, someone mentioned the thing about fraternities and sororities over the summer. That was something that happened in the past. I remember years ago people talking about renting out rooms very cheaply and those things. But fraternities, I can tell you from the perspective of my work, fraternities and sororities are going in a very different direction now. They're no longer they're phasing out these great big buildings with just lots of little bedrooms in them, and they're tearing those down and building things that are more like apartment buildings. So the fraternity and sorority members are expecting a higher scale of living than they used to, I think. And so I think the days when somebody would just have a big building with a bunch of bedrooms that they're willing to rent out are probably, if not over, close to being over with. So I don't think that's going to be an option anymore.
It's
And I
interesting. That does that mean that all those nice houses around campus are basically you have to knock them down and build that building then for the sorority.
they're doing that a lot in a lot of them, and in others they're just gutting them and redoing the interiors. So in some places they're taking just perfectly good buildings and just leveling them and putting up sort of high rises in their place. But it's just a different way of approaching this communal living thing that fraternities and sororities used to be, or still are, I guess, to a certain extent. So I'm just saying as a point. I didn't bring that up at the thing because I was thinking about it, but since then I've been thinking about it, and I realize that I don't think that's a usable idea really anymore. So
So
I
that
don't
was
know.
Ben's big suggestion months ago. He
Uh-huh.
really got to put that on the table. Actually, I'm meeting with him tomorrow. He really enjoyed, was surprised certainly uh, at the Welcome Awards. And Jack is always so funny, but so understating the jokes.
Hmm.
I could see him having fun in court. I've never seen him in court, and I'm saying I guess this very publicly, but I could see him making jokes that nobody understands, but he's having a grand old time.
Could be.
But an older suggestion of Ben's, well, maybe not that old, but was like to buy a mobile home park to keep the lot rent low. Um, I don't, I don't know how you go about that, but there is a tendency, or there does seem to be a trend of developers buying them and then jacking up the lot rent.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
so
speaking
like
of
through a
one of our,
cooperative or something.
yeah, yeah, maybe as a co-op. I saw one of them that, oh, I like this one out, sorry. The A little tiny mobile home park that was near my house. I saw the sign and I was tempted because I really like the grove of trees in which it's at, and somebody bought it and they got rid of all the mobile homes.
Mm.
And they were older, dilapidated. I mean, it was not a good site. It wasn't good for the eyes, but I imagine those people have to find something. And I don't know. I haven't reconciled with the capitalist side of and the need. Like staying in a hotel for one night is so expensive
I know.
that, you know, in Valentina with 3 days, you know, we paid basically not 3 days, it was maybe more.
I think it was a week.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 6 days almost. That's like a month's rent.
Yeah, so that's an option that's only viable for people that have some money. It's not viable for people that, you know, have just gotten here by the seat of their pants and don't have anything.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so something more like what the county has done, building they bought a building and it houses 12 and they've got 14 in it, she said, but they're planning to build enough to have 18, or to not to build, to buy another number of units, so they'll have 18. But you know, that's still not going to be enough, but it's going to be better.
So, see, so I'd like to separate the fact that in those units, you have people that are getting, well, not permanent housing, but they're getting housing for a longer period.
The Cunningham houses, or
Yeah.
Cunningham apartments.
I think they have a 90-day window.
I don't think they were intended to be longer, but that's how it's kind of come
Yeah,
to work out.
it's hard because then they can't evict gracefully.
Right. And he said that it's the immigrants that tend to stay longer because they don't know the system and they don't know as much about how to go about finding other housing.
So that's for intense counseling, but you know, my same person, I guess putting the name out in public is a little bit hard, but it's been my hard lesson. Seriously shopping for houses, rentals every day, showings, getting a deal, getting the application, and it not fitting for them as a family, but it's hard. Time consuming, certainly. Yeah, I think we need to pursue it. So I think I mentioned in the text, we need to pull together these 3 people that said they want to think about it more. If we have to, we buy them lunch and we take good notes as to, well, my thinking is even now we're not at the stage for a serious proposal. But I think if we developed a prototype that people could criticize, you know, we sit 3 very strong people to draft their best shot.
Yeah.
And then that bring to a larger group, including a forum, to shoot at it and make holes on it. So that then the next iteration can compensate for that thinking. And I would even say maybe even 2 plans, and all expenses paid, or by the seat of your pants kind of funding. Because I seriously believe that for the long term, we are going to have to find a large funder. You know, we can pull together little things, but as you said, housing is expensive, but especially the model is going to be new enough that conventional sources are not it.
Yeah. And our housing is moderate compared to much of the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Our
it's still
problem
too
is
much.
not that bad.
It's still too much for many people.
Yeah. We just decided in the house that we're going to try to buy a second home in Urbana. Or Champaign too, but Urbana seems to have a lot of signs right now, for sale signs. Maybe they're just trying to take advantage of the market, but I can tell you within 10 blocks, there are at least a dozen houses for sale right now, which I had not seen ever in my area. So, and it's after the school year began, so something happened, I don't know, but we said to ourselves, well, interest rates are very high, but they won't. In our lifetime, they're not likely to go down to what we lived 3 years ago. So we might as well embark in it and see if I can provide, a family, a return. Because, as you know, until you've sat through the other side, it's hard to predict. I was basically always a renter. I've never been a landlord. I'm in for surprises. But hey, that's what happened to me this year when we were trying to find immediate housing. I've learned a lot.
Mm.
Well, that's not why we're doing it, but it is part of what I hope to get out of the process. What does it take? And how do we fill in holes and needs? So anyway, if you leave it for me to convene, Carolyn, you know what happens. But your follow-ups are very sensitive, and you get me to do things that most people would give up on me. A lot of great ideas, but not doing. Oh, and by the way, the Shawarma interview that came out yesterday was
In the
excellent.
paper, yeah.
Yeah. So we got all of them, front page. Nice.
Yeah, that one was buried in the business section, but still it was a decent sized article with a photo.
Several pictures, and I got the ones from last year. Thank you for bringing them.
So each of the winners, I've created their both a page print and an article print from the News Gazette, and I've got them all in a folder, which can be transferred. I mean, I guess ideally to the Google Docs page for Immigration Forum, but it's really full right now. So
yeah, I need to move things on. I got the hard drive, and I started moving the Welcome Award films and that kind of stuff.
yeah,
But
all
I couldn't finish it.
those photos or page prints that I've been sending out to each winner, I've got them in a folder.
Okay, I will move them out. But when I sit down to do serious computer stuff, I move a lot of things around, but it's like a dedicated several hours, and it's on my list. But I must say, what you put up for Welcome Awards was very nice. And since we now have pictures of the Welcome Awards,
What did I put up?
you put up some poster boards of the articles.
Oh no, that was Lisa. That was
Lisa.
That was
Well,
her work.
Very
Yeah.
nice. And so now I can see buying pictures of them receiving the award. I took a few pictures, but I'm pretty sure we can pull all of them.
I'm glad you took a few pictures because mine are horrible.
Okay. Well,
I don't
there
know.
were 2 or 3 that were blurry, but there's always a few blurries.
Most of mine are blurry, and I don't know if because I'm a horrible photographer or if my camera's no good and just there's too much of a delay between when you click it and it takes the picture, or if it's a combination. But they're not good.
So what I don't
good
know
ones
is
in there.
that picture I didn't take. So
I didn't take that one either. I was so caught up in the moment that when it was over, it's like, I didn't take a picture.
while we're talking, I think it'd be nice to see if I can share that folder.
Oh, yeah.
I think Lauren may have taken some pictures. Lisa was hardly in. I mean, she was upstairs.
She was upstairs.
Food.
That was very
Yeah.
nice that she did that.
Yeah, but we can't let that happen again because she really wanted to be in there with the awards, and she was just very, very, very gracious and did that.
Is it time to hire it out?
I don't know. I mean, maybe if we'd I don't know. Oh, what happened? Oh, I see. You're presenting. Yeah, I don't know.
I think I threw away that one. This is my test, and then I did do a quick demographic survey of the room, and besides the girls that came with Flor here, and the little tiny children, it was an old crowd.
Yeah.
Can you zoom in on any of those pictures?
Yeah.
Well, go one at a time.
So I had the wrong lens on, so they're not the greatest, but in most of them, I have a sense of the room is what I was trying to take.
Uh-huh.
And then with my phone camera, I got much clearer pictures when I was up front. The lens here I need to throw away the zoom lens because it gets me close, but it doesn't give me clarity. But my telephoto is, my really good lens is now behind in a room that I can't get to. But how was his family? And it went long, but it was good.
Yeah, I didn't.
I haven't brought my phone cameras here.
Yeah, I wasn't
What's
paying
that?
attention to the time, so I don't know how much over we were, but
So you,
So I'll pull them into a folder onto the thingy when I empty, and then we can add any other pictures you want.
okay. You can't zoom in on them? Is that,
Oh,
because we're just looking right now at just a bunch of tiny little thumbnails.
well,
oh, really? I
Yeah.
thought I was
it's just
sharing the
thumbnails.
whole
It's just
screen.
thumbnails that we're seeing, and you can't
Oh,
see.
I'm sorry. So I'm sharing the wrong thing. Let me share the. Thank you. I thought as I was flipping through them, that you could see, but
No.
I figured
needed
that's
to
what you
share
were
it.
thinking, and I was waiting for, because I've
Yeah,
had other people try to share
It
stuff
was
and
just,
they're,
it was a page of thumbnails.
sorry. This is the good one, and I think I can't share your screen. Sorry, an error has
Ah.
occurred when screen
Okay,
sharing.
there's one.
Oh,
oh,
okay.
that's a good one.
Oh, so it made it into a window.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
that's good enough.
okay, so here I was zooming on a particular picture at a time, and
Oh, that's nice.
this one, I'm sorry, is not, it just, I was taking it too fast. It would have been perfect if I hadn't actually been able to focus, but
And I couldn't position myself, so mine is just like sideways.
Yeah.
So that's
there
much
were
better
four
than mine.
people behind me taking this picture, so I'm pretty sure that we can get it better. But I'm going to use this one again, Citlali's picture.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I took some very close ones of these guys. I will upload them. They weren't all bad.
Those are friends of Ephraim's.
Yeah. Yeah, Efrain. So there were 2, 3 cameras doing Facebook Live.
Oh,
Their families back home.
nice.
So
She did a really good job of ad-libbing. She ad-libbed everything she said.
yeah.
Because I sat next to her for a little bit before we started, and she's like, "Are we supposed to say something?" And I said, "Well, yeah, you can say a little." And anyhow, she ad-libbed it, and she did a beautiful job.
Good. It was good to hear some of their story.
Yeah, yeah.
So obviously I missed a couple of winners, at least on this.
Yeah, I got all the winners, but they're blurry.
Yeah,
I think I need
do
to.
what we can.
I need to stop following my sister's recommendations on phones because she's like, never pay more than $200 for a phone. It has to be,
Hmm.
And so I think I read the review on mine and it said the camera was decent, and it isn't.
Mm.
It isn't.
Well, so now I don't know how to take that little screen off. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I think we're close to the end of the time, so
Hmm.
it's gonna come on us.
Yeah. It was a great afternoon.
Yeah.
I wish I could have been there.
Well, it was a great week. Every event in which we were involved with, I think we're a crew of 5 right now,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah. Well, if we had it
went
on
well
a
enough.
Sunday, would you be able to come, Tom?
Pardon me?
If we had it on a Sunday rather than a Saturday,
Oh, yeah, yeah. I think that's when we used to have it.
that might be something worth considering.
Yeah.
Well, shouldn't change it just for me, but I would like to be able to come.
It might change a little bit the makeup of who's coming, but
Yeah.
certainly for some of these groups, it is the only time that they can come. I did notice, I mean, we had an African presence. We didn't have a strong Asian we had, what's it called, the Middle East present.
With the food. Well, but we didn't actually, at least I did not go out of my way. I mean, Lisa and I talked about who could we reach out to have more of an African presence, but we never followed through on it.
No, but I guess we had the music and that set the mood or the presence of Africa in the room. Certainly when the judges consider things, they don't consider balancing anything, the world, but it just so happens that the nominations come up that way. And with the way that the judges voted, it was a mix still, but I find it very positive. I guess, no, we had, Anhaho spoke.
Yes, she did. Yeah.
Also
And I
that
didn't
Asian.
get a picture of that either because I was so taken with the moment that I was like, that I forgot to take the picture.
So we had one club proposed, one planned item that was not on the program on purpose, and one that was not in anywhere. And she just stood out. She was sitting on the front row, and she went and gave a little speech.
And she was just saying she was really affirmative of everything that Lisa's done.
Yeah, very nice.
Which is to bring the refugee center to a whole different level.
Mm-hmm. It was very nice.
It was.
So anyway, good job. Thank you very much for all the work that you've done, Carolyn.
Yes, thank you.
Well,
you've led this well.
It can be stressful at times, but it's also very, very satisfying and very, well, and it's a privilege to be able to do it actually. Because, I mean, you get to know all these people's stories and.
Well, that's where the purpose of the awards gets very, very well fulfilled. We mean to recognize people that are contributing, some that would never come up in any other way. And on the other hand, we certainly bring allies to the table, people that were not so close to us, and yet we get to become very close. I just think of the way the newspaper's been covering. The last 2 years have been such excellent work. I'm glad they got not a standing ovation, but a huge clap in the room. The News Gazette was recognized for their work. Yeah, it was towards the beginning, and people spontaneously clapped because of all the coverage this week. We got to know who was in the room.
And because we got everything done on schedule, they had time to plan it out and
and they've rolled it out little by little without ever overwhelming the front page. So it's certainly the practice that I would like to keep, Carolyn, that calendar that you put together and that you worked hard to keep us on. And I thought that the judging experience was very positive. Trying to get everybody in the room is always a hassle. And this year, with a little bit of flexibility, we got some trust.
Yeah, we had 4 total, but probably a few more would have been nice. I don't know what the typical has been because this was my first time there.
Yeah, it's usually been the heads of the organizations.
So 4-ish would
That's
be
not what we started with at the beginning, but it is where we've landed. We never really wanted to push Immigration Forum's people. And so we quickly diluted our board's presence. I think maybe the first year and as much even forcing the second year, we might have had it. But that was the only part that I contributed in, was nominations and then getting the judges panel. After that, it was not in my hands. But as I told somebody, once I made the introduction, I was done. I mean, I did that job, normally our president would do at the beginning of the welcome, but afterwards, the second intervention was not as good as or needed as the first one. So
You mean in
I was just pleased.
or you mean in the judging or in the presentation of the awards?
In the actual welcome awards.
Okay.
At that time, MCs did such a good job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They were really good.
There, Charlotte and Jim do a great tag team. So, great masters of ceremonies. They obviously read their stuff and they had personal comments all the way through. Excellent. Yeah. So anyway, a week well done. We ought to rest a little bit and then come back with Forrest to the many things, including fixing technical issues.
Yeah, and I think coming back fairly soon to talk about getting the CU immigration form on the awards. We need to do that now, because if we wait again until close to the awards time, it won't get on.
That's right. You're right.
If we're going to redesign, we need to do it now.
Yeah. So, Mr. Garza, actually, there was one little one that came up in there, and that's just to have a vector copy of the logos.
He did provide it for me, actually.
Okay. He did.
Yeah.
And I sent it to them, whether they used it or not, because they'd already done a mock-up. I don't know.
So did you see the awards themselves? I didn't see them.
Yeah.
They didn't have a logo on it this year.
No.
For sure. Okay.
No.
All right. So let's design it with them this year, work through April and get the city to lock it in. I don't know how much they're paying for them, but the city of Champaign has certainly done a good supported job. I try to highlight them because they are
Yeah. So,
being
yeah.
generous.
And I've got, I didn't get that done today. I've got the paperwork to turn into the city for it to pay the rest of the musicians. We paid $100. They'll pay $200. But I don't know if, they've already paid like close to $600 for that food. I'm feeling a little funny about asking them for another $200, but I don't know what kind of money.
They will flag that. I can tell you that we are having a discussion on their expenses for welcoming week. They want to join them all into one.
Yeah, they paid double for the food that they did last year, because I think last year there was 2 organizations paying for it. I think. I'm not sure.
Well, we should just figure out what the total expense who paid for them, so that we're not leaning on anybody too heavily.
Yeah.
We've kept the tradition of not asking for money, and if we stay at the library, we can't sell T-shirts and books. But I think if we put out merch and whichever way, I think we'd get people to buy.
But we'd have to be somewhere besides the library.
Yeah, we don't have to do it at Welcome Awards. We had to do maybe a couple of other table settings.
Yeah. Yeah. We could table at the kickoff.
There you go.
Yeah.
We didn't table. Individuals were there, but we didn't table.
That's right. We could do it very easily. So, all right, guys, we should hit the next stage of our day.
Okay.
But
Well,
it's
thank
a
you.
pleasure to see you.
Well, I hope you can get something out of our conversation.
I'll see what I can come up with.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Garza.
Thank you.